They don't want to hear viewpoints that differ from their worldview of people that look like me. My voice doesn't matter in red pill conversations because I'm a woman. No, I'm just kidding. On a serious note, the reason my voice doesn't matter, or at least one of the reasons, in my opinion, is because there's not really room for different opinions. And some people want to find a space where others will validate their negative experiences without looking at the other side of the issue. And it seems like when you try to make people feel less alone, it seems to backfire. There's always actually quite a few people that will always throw it back in my face, insult me, not take my word for things. Or I actually call them out on being hypocritical and then they don't answer after that. I've either ignored it or tried to make them understand in a way by being respectful. But hey, why should I care? I'm in a relationship. But the reason I should care is because we can't live in a black and white society. We can't live in a society where only extreme opinions on either side of an issue are heard and everybody else is automatically shut down. We can't live in a society like that because how are we going to grow and develop as humans when we are shutting down people's voices because it's uncomfortable to hear another side of it, or because we have terrible trust issues and we just don't trust anything anybody is saying? How is that fair? Myself and even Ear trying to sort of break the illusion or show another side of it, that's what irritates the living crap out of people because they're hurt or because they've been stuck in this sort of echo chamber. And anybody that tries to say, hey, why don't you try this? Or why don't you look at it from this angle? It's automatically the door's closed. And I don't think that's healthy. Now, I don't want to sit here and invalidate people, what they've been through, and say that it's in their head, or like people like to say, we're gaslighting y'all. But you have to understand that if you try to shut down people that don't agree with you or shut down people who have a different perspective, if they're being respectful and kind, you kind of lost the argument. You kind of, like they say, lost the plot already. Isn't life about growing and evolving and trying to stick together rather than assign labels on people, but also preaching you don't want labels assigned on you? So as the new year comes in, I realize I'm not going to stop speaking out. I will not stop talking about this. Even if my voice is quote unquote unwanted, even if I don't know what I'm talking about, doesn't matter. Me trying to show the light and the hope and showing that even if you've been knocked down and hurt, not everybody is this way. And that's my central message, I think, that you have to realize that there is a glimmer of hope, and we want to show that to you guys based on our own personal experiences and based on our own relationship and based on what we've seen and gone through. Because it really hurts us seeing what's happening, and it really hurts us seeing society so divided over matters like this. And when people try to help, they're automatically like, it's like this saying that somebody can see a house on fire and they're like, shh, 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 there's nothing to see here. Shh, what are you talking about? But then they realize in the end, when it's too late, that that person that was trying to show you the burning house had a point, had something to show you, wanted to wake you up and draw your attention to something to make you look at the bigger picture, to make you see what you are perpetuating and what you're pushing onto other people. The hurt that you've gotten, you've now pushed it onto other people. I know it's hard to trust people. I get it. Trust me, you might not believe me, but I get it. But I don't think the solution is to continue pushing people out and saying your opinion isn't wanted here and you, what are you talking about, and you know nothing. This is just me reflecting on my videos on these kinds of matters, because I do truly feel like my voice is not wanted in these spaces at all. And not because I feel like I'm being victimized or I'm being emotional, okay, so don't throw these things out here, but because they don't want to hear viewpoints that differ from their worldview of people that look like me. Yeah, sometimes we have to look at what's mainly going on, but why do our voices always get shut down? Maybe we're just trying to help, and maybe we can all come up with some sort of solution rather than name call and throw labels out here and refuse to hear other sides, other points, other perspectives. How can we grow like that?
First of all, I want to say, Alessia, what you said was really on point, and
Thank you.
I've also, thought a lot about this, especially because honestly, I could have gone down so-called red pill route myself. Just to be very vague, I've been betrayed and I was hurt. And, when you're in that headspace, which a lot of people are, the world can be like really convincing. Those videos, what you read it's that pain speaking for you. That's where a place that you put the anger to. People are just there to have their opinions validated. It starts off with real experiences because we don't live in a perfect world. Over time, we see that those experiences, is right, are turned into something that's considered a world view where distrusting becomes the truth. What pushed me away from those kind of things, honestly, was that I wasn't going to heal or grow in those spaces. It made everything feel more divided, uh like men and women are opponents in the opposite, corners of the ring, instead of people dealing with the same broken systems, and pressures, expectations. The longer you stay in that mindset, the harder it is to be for it to become a healthy connection. This can affect people at a larger scale too, because as you know, if you keep people angry and suspicious, blaming one another, it's easier to influence and control. That makes them less likely to trust, organize, or solve real problems together. Division keeps people reactive instead of reflective.
Good point.
Yeah, so that's another thing. I don't think the issue is talking about pain or setting boundaries. Boundaries. I think that part is necessary. The issue is when the pain gets turned into identity and blame gets mistaken for wisdom, because people stop growing and they start hardening.
In my eyes, it's not so different than when people see the left and the right, and then there's people outside of that saying, well, they're both bad, or it's all fake, or it's all a show, and people are like, no, but you have to pick sides, and you have to go on this side or that side, and wow, so you're defending this side. It's a lot of this thing where people don't want to see that there's a third side to all this. People that either choose not to get involved, can understand both sides or all sides of an issue, or are trying to bring people together. And it's seems like that group, the third group, is always just shunned, beat down, criticized, attacked, because people are fueled a lot on anger and blaming and pointing fingers at people. Finding somebody to blame and point fingers at. So that is all for this video. I won't stop making videos on these topics if I feel like making them, despite what ends up happening, because I have to remember that my videos are just coming across a limited amount of people. There could be many people out there that would be willing to have these kinds of discussions. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you to everybody who participates civilly and who likes to be a part of this. I'm not trying to create a whole echo chamber here that shuts people out and tries to shut them and silence them. This is not the channel, but I do want people to be respectful and civil, because if we're not respectful and civil, we can't get anywhere. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
God be with you guys.
God bless you.